Welcome to the Zizzy Martian Guitar build. During part 1, we looked at the glue up of the body blank and how we shaped the body. During part 2, we're going to look at the neck pocket today, the front and back cavities, and the tremolo cover recess area. Welcome to another episode of All Things Woodworking. I'm your host, Aaron. I have left additional information in the description of the video. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share if you like what you see. So now that I'm done on the router table, I want to go ahead and remove the template from the body of the guitar. And to do that, I have a couple putty knives that I've sanded down to where they're really sharp. And then I've got one here that I use more like a wedge. And I go towards the template, not the body of the guitar, so you don't scar the top. There, now that the top of the guitar is clean, I'll finish cleaning the template later. But want to get ready for the neck pocket. So this template has a center line that goes all the way down the template. And we have the center line for the guitar, so it's really easy. You mark how far down it is, which is 3 inches. Put it on there. Make sure that on the center line, and that is where the neck pocket goes. So now I'm going to use, again, double back tape and to put the template down on the board, and then I'll use a different router to go ahead and route that out. So now we're ready to route the neck pocket, and I'm going to go ahead and use a small trim router. And the reason I use a small trim router is this does flex a little bit, and if I use my big router as I get out towards the edge, it would flex enough that would impact the neck pocket. So with this template, I like to go ahead and use the trim router, and I'm going to take, especially this first pass, much like I did on the router table, I'm going to go real slow. Because the first pass is going to be taking off more than I'd like, but because of the depth of the template in the router bed, it goes a little bit deeper than what I'd like. One thing I failed to mention was when you're using a small trim router, when you get over here, there can be times where it's not quite on the template. That's why I took it at an angle, which is fine because I'm going the direction I should at all times, but just coming at an angle instead of straight across. Now that the neck pocket is done, I'm going to go ahead and remove the template, and I'll do it the same way I removed the template for the body. Finish cleaning it up, and next we'll get ready to put the pickup cavities in. So I used the pick guard that was purchased for this guitar to align where the neck pickup would go. So I've got the neck pickup in place, and now it's time just to route it out. I'm getting ready to make what should be the last pass for the pickup cavity. And the way that I calculate the depth is when I get close, and I know I'm going to do it in one last pass, I go ahead and take a measurement from the bottom of the bushing to the plate here, and whatever that distance is, I then check and see how short I am from being at the depth that I need to. Like in this instance, I'm 3/16 of an inch short of being at the depth that I need. So I increased the distance between the faceplate and the bottom of this bushing 3/16 of an inch. This is a close-up of the technique I was just describing. I use a point on the router bit, either the top or the bottom of the bushing, to measure from, and then measure down to the base. And I take that measurement, and that becomes my measurement that I work from. And then if I need to go 1/8 of an inch deeper, I increase that measurement 1/8 of an inch by lowering the base on the router and then tightening it back up and making my route, and it would be the depth that I need. So the template for the bridge requires a 1/2 inch indexing hole. So what I did is I went ahead and marked where the indexing hole needs to go, which is here. But I wanted to make sure that I was totally 100% square going through the body blank, and didn't trail off one direction or the other. So what I did is I took a piece of 2x4, made sure that it was good and square, going both directions in here, and then drilled my hole and then measured from the edge of the hole on both sides and then again here on both sides, and I got the same distance in both cases, so I know I'm square up and down. And I use this to square up my table to make sure that that's before I drill the hole. So it's in good shape now, and we'll go ahead and drill it through. And just the very tip of the bit came through. So now I'm going to line that up. My lasers are off just a little bit. And I'm finished drilling the hole through so I don't have any breakout. There, I have my 1/2 inch indexing hole. The next step is to drill the holes for the bridge pins, and so they'll go here and here. I went ahead and took a few seconds and lined up my lasers so they're dead center on the hole. And so next we're going to go ahead and drill the hole. The other thing I did is I went ahead and put a mark 7/8 of an inch down on the body here, because that's all the deeper this needs to be, is 7/8 of an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and set my drill press for the 7/8. So getting ready to go ahead and route out the back of the guitar for the tremolo. And the templates I'm using are from Stu Mack, and they're very simple to use. They have a center line on them. You just line it up to the center line of the body. And then the hole that I drilled earlier in the front is an indexing hole for the template. So everything lines up really good. And next I just need to take this entire area down to 5/8 before I do any other routering. So I don't have a template for the routing cavity here for the electronics. And so what I was doing, it was cutting it out here, and either the template moved on me a little bit, or I didn't have it quite lined up, one or the other. And then the second thing is, with the way I was drilling it, I had some breakout here. So I've just decided I'm gonna go ahead and start on the drill press, drill out some holes and start over and get a nice clean template because I'll be using it many times. So I completed the template for the electronics cavity. It's done and ready to go. One of the things I did was I created a center line down here and then also to the body. So I actually am using the center line here, the body center line, to align this, make sure that it's where it needs to be on the guitar. So it's all ready to route. Instead of putting a tremolo cover on that would go on the outside of the body, I went ahead and made a template so I can do a recess into the body, and then made a template of the cover so it will fit down in there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the recess now. This brings this episode of the Zizzy Martian Guitar build to a finish. The next episode will go into body contours, sanding, and finish. Thank you for joining us on this episode of All Things Woodworking. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share if you like what you've seen.